Have you ever been so happy you said you were pleased as punch? I definitely have, but I don't remember it. And neither do any of the guests who attended the spiked and spicy party in college where the jungle juice was just a mixture of Hawaiian punch and NyQuil. The early 2000s were wild, y'all. Well, the phrase pleased as punch actually comes from an old English puppet show called Punch and Judy, where Punch was a violent and mischievous character who always got away with his crimes and enjoyed beating up his wife Judy and other puppets. UK, hun? That sounds right. And also horrifying. I prefer my puppets to not beat their wives. Or maybe it comes from a boxing ring where a young Joe Louis was so confident in his skills that he would taunt his opponents by saying he was pleased as punch right before knocking them out with his signature move, the Phantom Punch. That sounds right. Of course, I just made it up. Yeah, sorry, it's the Creepy Puppets one. Every week, I face off with celebrity guests, both of us trying to convince each other that our origin story is the real one. Join us as we explore the weird and wonderful stories behind everyday words and phrases. I'm Andrew Keenan Bolger, and this is That Sounds Right. I am so excited about my guest today, Heléne Yorke. You may have seen her on Broadway in American Psycho and Bullets Over Broadway, on TV in Masters of Sex and High Maintenance, and she is currently starring as Brooke Dubek on the HBO Max show The Other Two, which I am serious, y'all, is the funniest show on television, and I am not being subjective here. That is an objective fact. Funny show on TV, but mostly I know her as one of my best friends and college roommates from back in the day at the University of Michigan. Please welcome to the show, Heléne Yorke.
I love that initially you hit like a falsetto on my name. Heléne Yorke!
Heléne Yorke!
That was beautiful.
Yeah, well, that's my BFA training at work right there.
Very nice transition into those upper notes.
I warmed up for you.
I did not.
Okay. Now, Heléne, be honest. Is the reason that we stayed friends this long, do you think it is because we just know too many embarrassing stories about each other because we went to college together and it's just like safer to keep each other in the crosshairs?
Like how you lived like a total slob, painted your entire bedroom like a navy blue, even though it was a rental that we lived in for exactly 1 year. And then when we moved out, we were like, what are we going to do about this dark ass paint?
Yeah. Okay. This is maybe more embarrassing for me because I actually feel like you were very grown up. You had like anthropology sheets and like would cook vegetables.
I also was like weirdly so generous, and I can't remember why this happened. Like you had the gorgeous parlor bedroom in the front of the house with the beautiful picture window.
Yeah.
And I was like thinking like a storage container in the back.
And I think we paid the same rent too. We're like, yeah, this seems fair.
But I think I was like, sweetie, it's fine. You take the front. Why did I allow that?
Yeah, no one knows.
And plus it was like full trash that was like open to our sagging futon in the living room. We'd have to like sit like this in order to get the back on, like watching Food Network.
Just watching Food Network and eating Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Or pretzels dipped in mustard, which was like our...
It's still a staple.
Yeah, it was like our diet choice.
Yeah. You're like, I can eat this entire bag of pretzels, and that's like the same as one muffin.
Have you heard my theory that the human being has 3 stomachs? Have I told you about this?
Go on.
Okay, so humans have 3 stomachs. This is fact. 1, regular stomach. That's like where your food goes. 2, dessert stomach. Totally separate stomach. Like regular stomach can be full, but you've got room for a dessert. But there is a 3rd stomach, and that is the chips and salsa stomach. And it's like if you had a full meal, you had a main course and a dessert, and you like went somewhere like to a house party afterwards, and if there was chips and salsa out, you'd eat it.
You'd eat the whole thing.
And that is science.
That sounds right. Oh! So on That Sounds Right, our show is all about storytelling and the occasional lie telling. Could you hit me with 2 truths and a lie?
Okay. Currently, we have a babysitter that is with us, and she was really devastated because there was a horrible smell in her apartment. And I'm just like, now that I have babysitters, I hire actresses because that's what I did when I was young.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm supporting the arts, and I love them and they're gorgeous. And I'm always like, you've got this. Anyway, she was really devastated because her apartment in Bed-Stuy had a horrible smell. She didn't know what it was. I was like, maybe it's cooking, whatever. She found out it was because there were like a full cadre. Is that how you say that word?
Yeah,
cadre?
I think so.
Of dead rats in her basement, and the smell was like coming into her apartment through the vents.
That's horrifying.
Okay. Many years ago, and by many years ago, I mean something like 15 years ago, I dated Aaron Tveit for one weekend. And I was living in Washington Heights, and I had rats, and a rat ran across my bedroom, and he refused to do anything about it. And I, in that moment, was like, I need to marry somebody that isn't afraid of rats.
This would be a major twist if that is the line. You're like, no, I have no beef with Aaron Tveit at all. Okay.
And
your third?
My third is that my husband is like super brave about rats.
Okay.
And we just moved into this place in Park Slope, this new place.
Yeah,
and
gorgeous.
We heard one, and we realized we had one. And he set a trap out, and it got caught in our entryway. And I had to remove it using a plastic bag and like a little like dust shovel thing, and like put it in the trash out front.
First of all, thank you for theming this Two Truths and a Lie to be all about rats. I'm gonna go with the third is a lie, because Barry is a king and would never be scared to deal with a rat. Barry is Helena's husband.
Okay, so the third is the lie.
Yes, do it.
But he is a puss about rats. But we did catch a mouse, and it was in our kitchen, and he had to call the neighbor to come.
Barry.
So it was like a big lie. Barry is a little baby about rats.
That is a twist as well.
I know.
I can't get over the Aaron Tveit rat
15 years
story.
ago. By the way, looking back now, I am married to somebody afraid of rats, and so I look back and I'm like, respect, Aaron.
Yeah, and maybe, what would your life be like now?
I love that it'll just be out there that I dated him for one whole weekend.
That's
2 days.
Honestly, I'm jealous.
He was
I won't
playing-
pretend.
You know what he was doing? This will age us. So are you
Oh
ready?
no.
He was playing Link in Hairspray on Broadway.
Oh my God, we're ancient.
Hairspray on Broadway. I feel like Hairspray is so old now, they're going to revive it.
As they should. Honestly, get that show back on Broadway.
Don't you
That's
think
a
they
good
should?
show.
Wait a minute. They need to revive Hairspray.
They need to revive Hairspray.
Wait, did we just solve the
Yeah,
world's
I think
problems?
we solved the great American theater industry.
Let's get a revival of Hairspray.
Let's get a revival
on.
of Hairspray.
Oh my God, we know people that would produce that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I think it is time to move on to the actual game. That sounds right. So here are the rules. Each of us have been given a card with an idiom or a common phrase written on it, along with its origin story. We each get 5 minutes to review the actual origin, make some notes, and decide if we're either going to be telling the real story or if we can do a little bit better than history and make one up. Either way, we have to convince each other that our story is the real one. We're going to take a short break so we can get to thinking, and when we come back, we'll separate the fact from the funny.
So we can get to thinking. So we can get to thinking. We're gonna a circus McGurk. A wonderful show.
And we're back. I am going to kick things off here and tell you all about the backstory of the common phrase, spill the beans.
Oh.
Now, Helena, did you ever play the Oregon Trail?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking a millennial if she ever played the Oregon Trail. Can we just take a moment to acknowledge the absolute chokehold that had on our generation? So for the Gen Z listeners at home who have no clue what we're talking about, the Oregon Trail was a game in the 80s and 90s. It was a computer game. And it kind of told the story of, you got to play like a wagon leader who was leading a group of settlers from Independence, Missouri.
Oh, was it from Independence?
Oh, yes, from Independence, Missouri. And if there is one thing on this podcast, we're going to pronounce Missouri.
Let it be known.
Let it be known. Let the facts state. And you would lead them on the trail to Oregon, I assume.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Right?
God,
what if
so
it was
stupid.
Washington?
I was like, to California. I never made it. I was always bit by a snake, died of a snake bite.
I used to think I was like the most clever child alive because I would always name the people on my wagon after my least favorite teachers. So like when they died in a tragic accident, they're like, Mr. Williams has died of cholera. And I'm like, I'm God's gift to comedy.
Also, I remember that like there was also like it was like if you bought too much bison meat or if you killed a bison and you had too much meat, it would go bad too quickly.
Oh,
and then you would die of dysentery.
Yes, very irrational fear of dysentery, like in all throughout that time period. Yeah, and I love with the buffalo, like you would shoot 800 pounds and they're like, you can only take 20 pounds home. And you're like, well, I did what I did. Also, I also just love, like, you would forge a river and it would be like, congratulations, you made it across, except you lost 2 axles, a blanket, and Sarah. You're like, bury the lead. Maybe we should lead with, like, one of my daughters is dead, but no. Okay, but anyway, all of this is to say the Oregon Trail. Would you believe that the phrase spill the beans actually originated on the Oregon Trail?
It did.
Oh, it did. And let me tell you how.
How?
Okay, so in the mid 1800s in Missouri, there was a man named Jedediah Whitman. I mean, Whiteman also.
Yeah, definitely white.
Yeah, one of those Mormons, probably.
Jebediah, my absolute god.
Jedediah.
Jedediah.
Yes.
Is that how Jedediah is said?
No, it could be either.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. So Jedediah was leading a wagon train of settlers, and he came upon a friendly tribe of Sioux Indians who were indigenous to the land, and they decided they're like, we should do some trading, which like very generous of them. And so the Whitmans decided to trade some gold nuggets and what I assume was 800 pounds of buffalo meat with the indigenous people for like bows and arrows and like pottery and furs probably. And so it was like an amicable trade, except old Jedediah thought he was going to pull a fast one on these people. And at the very last second, did a little sleight of hand and switched out the pouch of gold nuggets for a pouch of dried beans. And so they made the trade, and then he was immediately like, all right, back into the wagon, quick like bunnies, let's go, and started hightailing it out of town. Of course, it did not take long for the Sioux people to literally spill the beans and realize that they had been scammed by this white dude. So they went and chased after him, and I'm sorry to say the fallout, it was not great. If it were like an output on the Oregon Trail, it would be like, you have been attacked by a friendly troop of Indians. In the chaos, you lost
Literally
4 horses. Yes, and Sarah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It sounds like something Jedediah would do.
For sure, yeah. But here's the thing. That phrase, spill the beans, that lived on long after, mostly honestly as like a warning to other white people. They're like, if you're going to scam your way to Oregon, like, just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't. And if you are, like, maybe choose something a little bit heavier than a dried bean.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, dumbass.
Yeah, so Helena, you get to ask some questions if you would like, if you need more information.
Okay, great. Can you use spill the beans in a like a modern context?
Oh, sure. Well, on the television show Friends, there was an episode called the one where Rachel spills the beans, where Rachel disclosed to Chandler that Joey had feelings for her. Literally spilled the beans.
Oh, right. I forgot that Joey had feelings for Rachel for a while. And I like tried it. I remember being like, this is weird.
Yeah. Any other further questions?
Okay. This is hard because this sounds so real, but like, I've known you a long time, and I think you're like a really tricky trickster and like weirdly good at this game.
Well, thank you. I did make it up, so.
Yeah, it sounds fully made up to me. It feels like a lie.
Okay.
Should I be asking more questions?
No, I think
Here's
if you
why
have
I think
truly,
it's a lie.
yes, let me know.
Here's why I think it's a lie. Is that I don't, first of all, you said like Oregon Trail, so you spun me into a direction of like, this is going to be about a video game. And I was like, I'm on board with this. And then you went to this like story about Jedediah. And I was like, but Jedediah wasn't a part of the Oregon Trail. Like that was just a computer game. But then it's like very detailed. And I just feel like Spill the Beans, if I could guess, came from like a more in the 20th century reference.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, So you're going with that doesn't sound right.
Sorry, let me do the catchphrase to camera.
Yeah.
A 5, 6, 7, 8. That doesn't sound right.
And that is correct. I made that up. Yes. I really had the Oregon Trail on mind. And
well, what's the real
you
story?
were correct. Okay, so here's the real story.
By the way, I was looking at you just like I was supposed to like interact, but I was like,
Okay.
wow.
Oh, well,
and
thank
that
you.
was really good.
Thanks,
The
Helena.
only reason I know it's a lie is because I know you.
Foiled again by college. The actual truth behind this story dates back to ancient Greece.
Oh, I was like, definitely 20th century.
Definitely not 20th century. Where people would use different colored beans to vote anonymously. Come on, democracy now. Yes, votes. Oh, yes, votes were white beans and no votes were dark colored beans. It is rumored that some participants would knock over the jar of beans when casting their vote on accident or on purpose, revealing the results early.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there actually
so you
was
like
some
revealing something. You spilled the beans. Oh, that was the
Spilled
other
the
reason I
beans.
thought that it was a lie is because I was like, I didn't think that your story was like in reference to the actual like phrase.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like anything was like you spilled the beans.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. Also, I did make up there's no Friends episode called the one where Rachel spills the beans, but maybe there
How
is.
did you come up with it that quickly?
Because
your brain is
I wrote
so
it on my
good.
paper because I thought you
Oh.
might ask it.
Oh, see, I didn't. Okay.
Okay, so 1 point down for me. Let's see if I can even out the score. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will hear Helene's story.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the idiom steal someone's thunder.
Oh, love.
Okay, do you know much about like Shakespearean times?
I mean, I'll be honest. Yes, I know like the Shakespearean works. I could not pinpoint. Is that like the 1400s or 1700s? No idea.
Yeah, right.
It's all
like,
wash.
Based
You're like,
on like that neck thing, you're like,
Yeah,
surely
you're like,
that's much longer ago.
was Judi Dench playing Queen Elizabeth?
Yeah, when
in
they were wearing
Shakespeare
those
in
like
Love?
that dog collar so you couldn't like bite at your wounds. You know, it also makes me think of like Olivia Colman in The Favorite.
Oh yes, gosh.
But, like, what year is that?
Couldn't tell you.
Well, it's Shakespearean
The
times.
Shakespearean times. I love those times.
What I know about Shakespearean times is Shakespeare stuff, and also did you take that course in
I
college?
did take a class in college where our
He was
teacher,
incredible. Ralph, his name was like Ralph somebody.
yeah,
He was
oh,
unbelievable,
gosh.
and they did a residence. Oh my God! What's the big famous Shakespeare company in England?
the Globe.
No, it's not the Globe. It was like
the
their-
Royal Shakespeare Company, RSC.
The RSC. The RSC did a residency in Ann Arbor.
That's right.
And I hooked up with this hot guy.
A hot British guy? This is
it was
just-
Aaron Tveit. I'm just kidding. He wasn't in the RSC.
Oh my
yet.
gosh.
No, I hooked up with this like hot guy that was in the production of like I think they did 3 shows in rep. It was Julius Caesar, The Tempest,
Yeah.
and Antony and Cleopatra. And he was like some hot thing. He was so British and hot. And he like came to one of our parties and I think he was like, what is this 20-year-old
this?
girl doing with me? But we hooked up on the stage of
You hooked
like,
up on the stage
at the Power Center.
Helena, if our professors are listening,
We, like,
they
made
are
out.
completely gagged.
Was it him or was it somebody else?
Oh my God.
College was
This was
wild.
college. College is the 2000s. There were no consequences back then.
Oh my God.
Okay, so what was the idiom again? Steal your thunder?
Steal your thunder. Steal
Okay.
someone's thunder. So in Shakespearean times,
Okay.
there was this guy, this like English dude,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like stagecraft central. He like
Uh-huh.
knew how to do stuff for these productions, which was like big time because it was, you know, the 14 or 1700s.
Who could say?
Nobody can say.
No one knows.
Nobody knows. And he created like basically the effect that makes thunder for like, you know, for
Folly.
for like, you know, production
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like some production that he was doing, but it was not Shakespeare. And so he was like, he did this production at this theater and he like created this thunder and everybody was like blown away by that. But like the show didn't really do very well.
Yeah.
And so, but then like the show that came in afterwards was Macbeth, and Shaky Shakes was like, I'm gonna use that thunder effect.
No.
And this guy comes out and he's like, oh my goodness, oh no,
I've been thieved.
he done stole my thunder.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the origin.
Of the story Steal My Thunder. Can I ask you for like a pop culture reference? Like where would someone have said steal your thunder?
Oh my God, they stole my thunder. It's like it's like Austin Butler, who is now actually Elvis.
Yeah.
Is trying to steal Brendan Fraser's thunder and win an award, but he failed last night.
Yeah, he failed. Sorry.
So the thunder was not stolen.
The thunder has not been stolen.
And that's what happens when you change your entire personality based on a job.
And your full voice.
Your full voice, your full being. You're this guy now. And by the way, now that the Oscars have happened, Elvis is gone, bud.
Do you think he'll start talking normally again?
I don't know. I wonder if he does like another part and he basically so that none of us perceive that it's happening, he just like slowly
It's a
staves off.
gradual phase.
Yeah, he's just like yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm going to follow his Instagram stories and then I will have receipts.
Yeah, exactly. Watch the slow demise.
Okay, are there any other additional facts that you can tell me about the phrase steal your thunder?
Any additional facts about Steal My Thunder? Yeah.
Also, you could say no and we could just jump.
No.
You get what you get and you don't get upset.
Yeah, that's all you get, and good luck guessing.
Okay, I'm going to rate that story pretty low on accuracy in terms of, I think we got the vibe, if not necessarily the historicity of it, but I cannot picture that origin having a better backstory. Like, that is a literal stealing thunder. And, like, you have to assume William Shakespeare was, like, a little thief. I'm going to go with that's true. That sounds right.
Yeah, it is right.
Amazing.
Can I tell my lie just so you know what it was?
Yeah, sure.
I thought that this was like truly a rabbit hole that I could not. I was like, I guess I have to start out. We only have 5 minutes. And I was like, it's the 1960s. Diana Ross is dating Berry Gordy. She's going out with him like on an LA night. It's a really bad weather. Like, who knew? He's making eyes at some other girl, and there's like a thunderclap, whatever. And she's like, "You're stealing my thunder." Like,
would download that single immediately.
would you think that was true? It's just not as detailed as the other story.
Yeah, I think it was good for you to go with the true one, even though I ended up guessing it, which actually makes us tied.
Is there a tiebreaker?
Don't worry. It looks like we have a tie, which means we'll be going into sudden death.
Oh my God.
Now for this round, our producer is going to read us an obscure and very strange law. And we each have a buzzer. And the first one to buzz in gets to guess if that sounds right. Okay, wait. But the buzzers are geared towards Helena, so they have been programmed with iconic Brooke Dubek sayings. Do you want to try yours?
The eagle.
And on mine we have...
In this climate?
I love that it's not me saying that, though.
No, it's me trying to do a Helena voice.
Oh, it's
the
you?
eagle.
Wait, this is incredible. I love it.
Okay, so our producer is going to read us this strange law.
Snow leopard wrestling matches are prohibited in Alabama.
The eagle.
That sounds right.
That sounds, I made that up.
Okay, so I have to
why
guess
I thought
one?
that was right? Because it's Alabama.
Would-
And what the fuck is going on over there?
The eagle.
Nope, so I'm just going to read you a new one.
Okay.
It's back to whoever can get it first.
Okay.
In Indiana, bathing is prohibited during the winter.
In this climate?
That weirdly works. I'm going to go with that sounds wrong.
Oh, that was true. That was true.
Oh my gosh. How are we going to win this?
Bathing is prohibited in the winter.
Can't do it. Not in Indiana.
Not in Indiana.
I wonder if that's a water thing. Like it has to do with water consumption. But do you think that some of these laws are things that they like forgot are on the books?
I would hope so.
Like you hear about some of these and then you're just sort of like, surely they're like, oh fuck that one. Quick, can we vote on it? And some people are like, that's hilarious.
no,
Leave it
that's
in.
I'm keeping it for chaos sake.
Yeah. You can make like money suing people, or the
Yeah.
state can make money for like their roads.
Great. Yeah, I'm gonna ticket those winter bathers.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. We're going back to Alabama. You may not have an ice cream cone in your back pocket at any time.
In this climate?
I'm going, that sounds wrong. That's so silly.
Dang, that was true.
Oh my God.
I was gonna say true, and I should have jumped in so I could win.
Oh my gosh.
These are like written down laws.
Absolutely, factually checked.
Oh
This
my God.
country in this climate. God. Okay.
All right. We're going to keep in Alabama here. You cannot chain your alligator to a fire hydrant.
The eagle.
Yeah, that sounds real true.
It's true. You're a
Oh,
winner.
Yeah.
Finally. Okay. So Helena finally won. Oh my gosh. This is a big day. Well, Helena.
It's like very sensitive on one area of it.
So Helena, we actually have a winner's prize for you.
Oh my God. Cash. Cold hard cash.
You get to choose a card.
Oh my God.
Pick
okay.
any card.
Well, I want the one that's shaped. Happy birthday, Grandma. You're more special and more loved than you know. And this is just a little birthday reminder of how much you mean today and always.
It's also not signed, so you can fully repurpose that.
Thank you, son.
You're welcome. I'm incredibly generous.
Actually, it is 2 grandmas in my life's birthdays coming up.
Come
so
on.
I'm
Well,
gonna
I
use
saved
this.
you a card.
And I'm going to give it to my mother-in-law because my mother would get this and be like, what the fuck is this, Helena?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Helena, for doing this. That is all for our show today. Please remember to subscribe. And if you liked us, we would love for you to write us a review. These really help. Big thanks to my guest, Heléne Yorke.
But only if they're good reviews.
Only if they're good reviews.
Yeah, write a good review.
If you write a wrong one, we're going to be like, that sounds
I love that if you
wrong.
write a wrong one. There's like a right or wrong review.
There
And
is
a wrong
only-
review is a bad review, so don't leave one
Don't
of those.
leave that. You can leave
We'll
that on
find
someone
you.
else. You can find our guest, Heléne Yorke, on her socials at Heléne Yorke.
Spelled HELENEYORKE. Yes, there's a lot of E's. Yes, that's not
Yes.
how it's technically pronounced, but it is.
It is. There's an X in Agu, but not on Instagram.
And also because I added it, it's fake.
It's not real. That sounds right.
That sounds right.
And join us next week for another episode of That Sounds Right.
What celeb will we have then?